time to start. Welcome everybody to press conference, one of the most exciting press conferences during the Congress. We are the fastest growing mobile operator, maybe in the world, even so. Let me start with some less formal slides. By the way, my name is Marcin Gruszka. I have a great opportunity to be a spokesperson in this company. So let me start with some slides. Here you can see 10 beautiful girls. Each of them is wearing a t-shirt. We have such a kind of a t-shirt marketing in play. Always when we have something great to celebrate, we produce a new t-shirt. Those girls are with the t-shirt with millions. And 3 years ago, I think, here in this Congress, I gave to one gentleman a t-shirt, this t-shirt with number 10. And he promised me to wear it when we will be celebrating 10 million customers. I think that it was when I had on a bag number 5, so nobody believes that it will ever happen. Here's the proof that this handsome gentleman actually was wearing this t-shirt. And this handsome, great-looking gentleman is our CEO, Mr. Jürgen Bang Jensen. And Jürgen, please, time's yours.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most interesting press conference. So, again, this year we can announce that we had a good result, and Martin would like to pinpoint actually that it's even better than 2012. So 2013, despite 13 for some people being an unlucky number for us, was a very lucky number. We'll see if I hit the right button. I do that. So I would like first to reflect a little bit on the mobile industry in general. It's actually more or less on the date now 20 years ago I took my first position as mobile CEO, and a lot of things have changed and a lot of things have stayed the same in the past 20 years. But last year we said we actually believe in growth in the industry, and when asked by some of you what does that mean, we have said, well, so far we are connecting people and we are sort of coming to an end of that, but we believe that the mobile connectivity eventually will connect everybody and everything in the universe. So there's still a lot of potential for growth in the future. We have been quite alone with that notion. I think there's been, particularly in Europe, a lot of pessimism, and a lot of incumbent operators have been whining and saying, you know, regulators help us, or it's all the challenges that are eating the lunch, and so on and so forth. But yesterday at the leadership summit here at the Mobile World Congress, there was a few signs of optimism. And first of all, the leadership summit was all about calling for the next billion connections. So today there's about 7 billion mobile connections in the world, and the GSMA is looking forward to connect the next billion. A lot of things have to happen for that to take place, and one of the good news I think at this Congress is that we meet a lot of handset providers that have finally listened to the operators and are now able to produce smartphones costing around $50, which means that we can also announce, and we will say that a bit later here as well, that that is the final end of the feature phone. So we can see that smartphones and connectivity via 3G and smartphones is going to be the norm for everybody going forward. So the summit was all about the next billion. Later in the evening or later afternoon, there was Mr. Zuckerberg having a presentation, or he was interviewed. I don't know if any of you heard him. He was a bit on steroids, I think. He got it wrong. He said we are talking about the last billion that we want to connect, but that's probably because Facebook is only connecting people and not machines. Otherwise it could be funny if all machines would have their own Facebook homepage. So you can imagine that the Coca-Cola machine would be talking to the fridge. So how was your day? I had a silly customer who couldn't find out how to push the buttons, so I took a picture of him. Here he is, I put him on my Facebook homepage. But Zuckerberg doesn't have that vision, at least not yet. But there was a presentation by Tom Wheeler, who's the chairman of FCC of the US, and I think he was more aligned with what we think at Play, which is that we are just at the beginning of the mobile internet revolution. And he compared it to saying that the mobile internet is kind of the fourth big revolution basically since Christ, where the first one was the invention of the printed press, so you could actually communicate properly. Secondly, the railway, so distance no longer really was an issue. The third one being the telegraph, meaning that time is no longer an issue. You can communicate, and you can communicate immediately. And he saw that now the mobile internet will be the next big revolution, and that if we think we have had an impact on society so far, the only impact we have had is that people used to go like this, now they go like this. But the real impact on education, on the businesses that we are running, will actually only begin to happen at this point in time, and hopefully we'll live long enough to see the big impact it will have many years from now. So there's growth, there's plenty of growth. Operators like Play will have some role to play in it, but other handset manufacturers, the vendors, the service providers will have other roles to play in this industry, which, by the way, is probably one of the biggest industries in the world, accounting for, I believe, 3% of the world GDP. So we have a lot of opportunity in front of us, and I think it's time that we all smile a bit and say the future is bright, it's not orange, the future is bright, the future is baked, maybe, and go back to the job and start exploring that future. So that was a little bit the more philosophical, just to say that in Play we still believe that there's a lot of potential out there, and we will be there to explore it. So 2013 was an exceptional year for Play, and in many aspects also for the Polish mobile telecom market. So we saw the end of asymmetry, and I believe a lot of observers in the Polish market had expected that come 2013, end of asymmetry, maybe it's also the end of Play. That didn't happen, luckily for us, unluckily for somebody else. But we saw the end of asymmetry, which meant, as we also communicated before 13, that roughly 2 billion of revenues disappeared from the market. But as it is only money we shift around between operators, it had no impact on the total bottom line, except for Play, because we had the asymmetry. So when you see our financial results, you can, or we can announce that probably around 400 million zloty or 100 million euro disappeared from the top line, and roughly 220 million zloty or 50 million euro disappeared from the bottom line. So despite that, we think 2013 was a good year. But now we have symmetry on a relatively low level, the 1 euro cent as recommended by the EU, and that has again led to a new trend, and the Polish market being quite a leader in that trend. I will come back to that. It was also exceptional in the sense that we had a tender that was revealed in February. We have talked a lot about it, but I cannot mention it often enough. We got 3 blocks of 1800 megahertz spectrum. We have now deployed it, and it's deploying it as we speak. And that has put Play in a very comfortable position with regards to spectrum. And that's the other learning from this conference. There's a lot of talk about spectrum, and that regulators need to be creative, not too creative, but creative when they issue spectrum auction or tenders in the future. We had also an exceptional year in the sense that the daily newspaper Rzeczpospolita, who makes an evaluation of the value of Polish brands, estimated our brand value, Play, to be 1.9 billion zloty or roughly 500 million euro. which was an increase year on year of 36%. And we who live in Warsaw have all seen, or in Poland have all seen our celebrity campaign from last year. I think it had a big impact, and we are continuing that campaign throughout this year, at least, and with some fresh faces, so maybe the brand value will increase even more. We were also awarded, and I think it's worthwhile mentioning here, the award as Best Employer. And actually we received, in my view, 2 awards, because we got this title as Best Employer in the category Ultra Large Corporates. So when having the thank you speech, I said, first of all, thank you for calling us ultra large. I think years ago people perceived Play to be a little unimportant player. Now we are an ultra large corporate, seen in a Polish context. But also that we actually, with a lot of effort vis-a-vis and with our employees, have managed to position the company as the best employer. And the people I'm referring to is the 711 people in our headquarters, the 547 in our commercial department, and the 1,208 people in our own stores around Poland. So this is the great team, and the team that have been behind the very good results that Play is displaying. So here it would be polite if I say thank you to the team, which I do. It's a great team. Also exceptional for a mobile operator. Some of you who knows us well know that retail is in our DNA. Our majority shareholder is actually coming from the retail side of business, and therefore we are particularly proud when in 2013 by the Polish Shopping Mall Association we were awarded the Best Retail Chain award. Not just for telecom, but for all retail chains, so in competition with the Zara's, the McDonald's, the MediaMarkt, the whomsoever who are present in the shopping mall. So this is also a very great achievement, and is showing that our team have been working very hard over many years to position us as the best retail chain and giving the best retail experience to the Polish consumer. We launched LTE last year. We got the frequencies. We were awarded them in February. We got them handed over against 498 million zloty end of June last year, and that's when Hans and his team started building. And by end of the year, we already had 20% population coverage. We launched the tariffs on 9/9, as you may remember, and the technical network on 11/11. And we have today already more than 10% of the traffic on the data traffic on the LTE network. So also here a great success. Thanks to the low mobile termination rates that we had foreseen already in 2012, we launched the unlimited tariffs, but really 2013 was the year where all tariffs in one way or the other had an unlimited element, and I think we, together with our competitors, is actually positioning Poland quite uniquely here. That the consumer, for the consumer in Poland today, unlimited is the norm. Unlimited is what you're asking for in terms of voice, in terms of SMS, and the tariff plans with X number of minutes and so on and so forth seems to be part of history. So we had a number of offers towards the end of the year, the simplification even down to basically 3 tariffs, one for unlimited on-net, unlimited all-net, and unlimited within Europe. So really 2013 was the year where unlimited became the norm, or flat fee, or whatever you call it, in voice and SMS, and we can see later what the impact of that has been. So a little bit to numbers. I think 13 was a good year, and by end of year 2013 we accounted 10.7 million clients in our customer base, an increase from 2012 of 24%, or roughly 2 million. There's a little story behind the 2 million, because this is my 5th annual press conference with Play, and we have always announced 1.8 million, and 1.8, and 1.8, and 1.8. So It's exceptional that for 2013 we have 2.0 million more clients in the customer base. I can also say that we do not expect to continue that growth in 2014. It will be somewhat slower, but there will be growth. Also, in terms of mobile number portability, if we count the fourth quarter, was the 19th consecutive quarter where we had more than 50% market share in mobile number portability. And for the full year, 902,000 clients, contract clients, decided to move their number to Play, which is an increase compared to 2012, where we had 803,000. So 100,000 or 99,000 more decided to move their number to Play in 2013. In terms of business client, which is for Play important, we are active in small office, home office, and SME segment, not in the corporate. We increased our client base from 1.1 to 1.5, so an increase of almost 40%, or more precisely, 38%. Great achievement from the commercial team. Something that also has happened, I hinted at it earlier. When we started 2013, we still saw a segment for feature phones. And I've been preaching with the Samsungs, the LGs, the Nokias, and whoever of this world for quite a while, saying we need an entry-level 3G phone because we don't want to have this. Being quite persistent. We don't want to have to develop anymore the 2G network. And that is what we see now, that the entry-level smartphone has arrived, and for roughly $50 you can now buy 4-inch Android-based very good 3G phones. And the consequence of that is that in our stores today, whether it's the physical store or the electronic store, our e-shop, more than 90%, I can actually say it is already more than 95% of all phones being sold are now smartphones. In terms of LTE, we launched it in November, and today already 50% of all devices being sold for use as mobile broadband is today LTE devices. We are very pleased to see that there's a big selection. We are also very pleased to see that all the devices we are now selling is having multiple frequency spectrum available, so both 800, 900, 1800, 2100 and 2600 frequency spectrum is supported by the devices that we are selling. So also here we are actually very well prepared for the future. As I mentioned, LTE has been launched. It's great success, and out of the total data volume we are transmitting in our network, already more than 10% today is traveling on LTE, which has been a quite dramatic shift in only a couple of months since the launch. So great success. The most important phones we have been selling, I'm always saying this industry is all driven by handsets. That's what the consumer is really concerned about in the first instance, and then the good service and the good bill and so on and so forth as a second priority. But it has been Samsung Galaxy, it has been the HTC, it's been the Nokia, LG Swift L5 and Sony. So those were the most important smartphones for us in 2013. And I have an announcement from our commercial team. We expect to sell more phones in 2014 than in 2013. And we expect to sell much more, many more tablets in 2014 than in 2013. So even if I'm saying that the total growth of the company probably will be leveling off a little bit, then in terms of handsets passing over the counter, the number will increase. And in terms of communication?
Just a short movie.
on your side. Take it fast, it's gonna have a birthday day. Happy day today. Sunshine, sunshine, feeling sweet as breeze. Reach for the sky, grab a star, winning. Happy birthday day. There for you. Take it your way. Feels good to you. On a birthday day. There for you. On a birthday day. There for you. Birthday today.
This was a short cut together of some of our advertising campaigns from 2013 with some of our celebrities that has helped us also to increase the awareness of our offer and our communication. So we had a fantastic increase in what is called unaided, spontaneous awareness of the advertising of play, which has been steadily increasing over the years. That's quite a natural development, but with a magnificent leap of 17 percentage points in 2013. So today, that means that when you ask the Polish consumers, 70% will, without being specifically guided, say, yes, I have seen the play advertising, and I roughly believe I understand what the communication is about. So also here a great achievement from the marketing team. We have also focused on the web page, very important, and we are happy to announce we're actually one of the areas where we are #1. So the play.pl is the most visited telecom web page in Poland, and the team and Martin will make sure that we stay in that position, I hope, in 2014. We have continued our cooperation with WASP, the charity, and also here I can say that our contribution, or our clients' contribution to WASP, is on a steady increase. And last year, apart from our own sponsoring money to WASP, our clients donated through our different offers more than 1.8 million zloty. And I think everybody is quite happy about this partnership. I also mentioned that the SMS and voice is actually doing quite fine in Poland, contrary to what many other countries are experiencing. And when we look at what we had in terms of Christmas Eve, for some reason Poles send more SMSs on Christmas Eve than on New Year's Eve. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So Christmas Eve, we had an average, every single SIM card sent an average of 8.51 SMSs on the last Christmas Eve. The year before, 7 point something. The year before, 5 point something. So it's just a signal that SMS is not dead, at least not yet. And we have the same increase in terms of MMSs and also voice traffic. So we see voice, SMS, and MMS per subscriber actually on a steady increase. I also believe that the flat rates that we have had in Poland on SMS and MMS for many years has helped in that. And so the financial incentive to use applications like WhatsApp, etc., has not been there. I think we should be happy when people are using WhatsApp. It's connectivity that they are using, and that's what we are offering. But it just shows that with the right pricing, you can actually keep your clients also on the services that are your main sort of bread and butter. Our revenues also increased last year. Usage revenue, which is what our clients are paying to play, increased from 2.4 to 2.9 billion zloty, up 22% year on year. But as we had the effect of the decrease of mobile termination rates of 400 million zloty, the total revenues went up, I should say only, but it went up from 3.58 to 3.72 billion, so up by 4%. So the usage revenues increased by 22%. I said earlier, client base increased by 24%, so basically a one-to-one increase between client and usage. Our cash EBITDA that we have now started reporting increased by 26%, so from 562 in 12 to 707, and that is roughly, I think, 160 something million euro that we had as a cash EBITDA last year. So to summarize 2013, usage revenue up 22%, customer base up 24%, and the cash financial result, cash EBITDA, up 26%. So it was indeed a very good 2013. If we look ahead, I'm going to do something sensational specifically for Ulla.
Thank you.
Looking into the future. So what we expect of 2014 is that we will see an increase of revenues in the magnitude of 8 to 10%. We expect our bottom line to be in excess of 1 billion. And as I mentioned, we expect our customer growth not to be as rapid as in 2013, so less than 2 million. I will not be more specific at this point in time. We also can say that we will continue with the LTE rollout. We had, end of last year, 1,130 base stations on air with LTE. By end of this year, we expect to have more than fulfilled the 3,200 license requirement number that we have, and we will have approximately 3,700 LTE base stations on air, covering, let's say, approximately 70% of the Polish population. So, just to summarize, last year I was at a conference with some of my fellow competitors, where one of them said, with that size, fine, you're becoming almost one of the incumbents like us. And I had to correct him and say, being a challenger is a mindset. So even if we have 10.7 million customers, even if we this year look at something like €1 billion revenues or 4 billion zloty revenues, then we will continue in our mindset to be a challenger, which also means that any statements from our competitors, what we can and cannot do, as I experienced yesterday, you should take with a certain, let's call it, skepticism. Play is able to do a lot of things because we think creatively, the team is very creative, and the innovation, I always define innovation as implementation of creativity. We have the innovation force, we have done many things where people believe this is not possible. I think rolling out by end of this year 3,700 LTE base stations is one of these creative ideas nobody thought would be possible. And not only doing it, but doing it for a capex amount that are dimensions smaller than our competitors. That's the trick. So, to summarize, or to conclude, being a challenger is a mindset. We are planning to continue to be a challenger at Play. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jürgen. Maybe there are any questions.